Hi and welcome to my channel. Today we're going to learn how to make pozole. So this is what we're going to use to make our pozole. So we're going to use 1 can of hominy, and this is 6 pounds or 14 ounces of hominy. And this is what we're going to use for our pozole. Then for the meat, we're going to use 3 pounds and a half of pork ribs, and it has the bone in it. And then we're gonna use 3 pounds of pork sirloin chops. And then we're gonna add 2 pieces of this is soup bone. So we're just gonna we bought a pack this just to show you. It comes with different kinds of bones for the soups, and it's called beef soup bones. So we just take 2 bones of this and we add it to our soup when we make our pozole, because this gives flavor to your pozole. And then we have about 1.5 pounds of it's called espinazo in Spanish, but in English it's pork with bones, so it's neck bones, and this is gonna give flavor to your pozole. I know some people don't like to use it because they get scared when they hear the name neck bones, but this just gives flavor to your soup. So the pozole is gonna taste way better with this neck bones and this soup bones that we get. It's just to give it flavor. So the main meats is gonna be your sirloin chop pork and your ribs. Those are your main meats that you're gonna use for your pozole, and it's gonna taste wonderful when you add this bone meat. It tastes way better. And then we're gonna use 6 California chili pots, and they're dried, and we're gonna use half of an onion. We're gonna use 1.5 teaspoons of sea salt. We're gonna use 5 garlic cloves, 3 bay leaves. We're gonna use half of a teaspoon, 1/4 of a teaspoon of cumin, and it's already grind. And then we're gonna use peppercorns, half of a teaspoon, and then we're gonna use 1 teaspoon of oregano. And that's what we're gonna use for our when we make our pozole. And then we're gonna we're gonna use 1 cabbage head, and then we're gonna use about 3 limes for our pozole. So we're gonna get started. So we're gonna wash all our meat and cut it. We're gonna cut our ribs, and we're gonna cut our pork shoulder chops into smaller pieces, and then we're gonna wash it all and put it in a pot. About, I think it's gonna be almost 1 gallon of water, and we're gonna put it to boil for about 1 hour and 15 minutes, and then we're gonna get started to make our pozole. So here's all our meat. We already washed it really good. We rinsed it. We give it about 3 or 4 rinses to all our meat, and we cut all our pork and the ribs, and then we put our bones in there for flavor. So we're gonna let this cook for about 30 minutes, and we're gonna come and check on it, and we're gonna remove all the debris that comes out of the meat, and we're gonna clean it. And then after that, we're gonna let it cook for another 45 minutes. So in total, we're cooking our meat for 1 hour and 15 minutes, because we want to make sure our meat is nice and soft and well cooked. And then we're gonna add our bay leaves. We're gonna add our salt and our bay leaves, and our garlic. But we're gonna do that after we let it boil and it releases all the debris. Then we add the salt and everything else. So we're gonna get the chili. We're gonna make the chili sauce for the pozole. So we're gonna remove the stem out of our chili pots. So here we go. We're gonna remove the stems, and then remove the seeds from the inside. So then I'll cut them in half. So I'm gonna cut them and then open them and take out the seeds. Same thing this one. We're just gonna cut it in half and take out the seeds. And once we're done cleaning all of them out, I'm gonna put them in hot water. I already have the water on the stove. And we're gonna cook them for about 5 minutes, and then we'll put them in the blender and put all the seasonings and make our chili for our pozole. And the reason we put them in the hot water and cook them a little bit, because we want to release the flavor from the hot chili, the flavor, and we want to loosen up the skin from our chili pots. So we're good. Now we're gonna put them on the hot water. So see, I'm gonna put them here and just leave them there for about 5 minutes, and then we'll make the chili for our pozole. So here's our meat. It's been cooking for about 35 minutes. So see, we're gonna remove all the debris that the meat releases with this the strainer that that's what we're gonna use, and we're removing all the debris that the meat release, and because we don't want that on our soup. We want our pozole to look as clean as it can be. And that's it, and then we just take it out and throw it away. And then when you move it around, you could see it's gonna release a little bit more. So then you just clean it out. And that's it. We're cleaning the juice of our pozole, the soup. You don't want none of that gooey stuff, that's the stuff that's released by the meat. That's why I try to wash it as best as I can, rinse it well, so it can release as much as it can when the water, and then that's when we put it to boil. The other thing we want to remove from our soup is this debris right here. It's kind of like just fat, so we want to remove that from our. That's why we put a lot of water in our soup, but we're going to take out some fat and some of the scum that comes out of the meat. See, so all this little stuff from the edges, we're going to clean it out. See, because we want our soup to be nice and beautiful, as clean as we can. And now that it's cooking now for half an hour, now we're gonna add the garlic and the salt. So we're gonna add our 1.5 teaspoons of salt. We're gonna add 5 garlics. So that's our salt. Now we're gonna put half of an onion, 3 of bay leaves, and then we're gonna add a handful of. It's not a handful, it's a teaspoonful of oregano. And that's gonna give flavor to our pozole. Now we're gonna let it cook for about 20 minutes, and then we're gonna add our hominy to our pozole, and then we're gonna add the red sauce, the chili that we're gonna make right now. So to make our chili sauce, we added 1 cup of hominy to our chili sauce, 1 cup of the water that we boil the chili pots on. We're adding half of a teaspoon of sea salt, half of a teaspoon of pepper, and half of a teaspoon of cumin, ground cumin. And that's all we're gonna add to our chili sauce. So now that our chili sauce is done, we gave it a good mix with the blender. Now we're gonna strain our chili sauce because we don't want none of the skin and the seeds going into our pozole sauce. We added 1 cup of hominy. That's why it's pretty thick, but that's we want to give a little flavor and thickness to our pozole soup. So we're gonna strain it so we could get rid of the chili skin and the seeds. We're almost done. It's a good amount of chili that goes into our soup, but we're making a big pot, so. And you always want to taste your chili sauce to make sure it's good with salt. It's good. Oh, it has a little kick to it. That means our chili pots were a little bit spicy. Good thing we're taking out the seeds, because if not, it will get spicier. So that's it. We're done. So now we're going to throw away the leftover seeds. We're going to let it cook. After we add these 2 items, the hominy. Just to let you know, the hominy, we took it out of the can and we put it in water and we rinsed it. I already rinsed them 3 times already. So it's pretty nice and rinsed. And now it's ready. We're just waiting to, as soon as our meat is ready, we're going to throw out the water and put it in our pot so it could cook. So now that we cooked our meat, already it's been cooking for about an hour. Now we're gonna add our hominy. So this is the whole can of hominy. And now that we added the hominy, we're gonna move it around a little bit. So see, everything is nice and cooked. The meat is cooked, but it still needs about another 20 minutes or so to let the hominy cook with the meat. And we're gonna put our red sauce for our pozole. So this is our red sauce. I already strained it and removed the skin and the seeds. So now we're gonna let it we're gonna mix it a little bit and we're gonna let it cook. And always when you're cooking, always you wanna taste your take a little bit of the juice out, and let's taste our juice to see how our soup is tasting, our pozole. So see, we wanna try it out to see if it's missing any salt. It's actually good on salt, because we put salt on the water when we were boiling it, or when we were cooking the meat. We put 1.5 teaspoons of sea salt, and then we put another teaspoon of salt on the red chili. So I think I tasted my my pozole soup right now, and it tastes good. So we're gonna leave it like that. So now we're gonna cover it and let it cook for another 20 minutes. And our pozole is almost done. Good. Once we're done cooking our soup, our pozole soup, what we do, we add lemon to it. So I'm gonna cut 3 lemons into 4 pieces, and then I'm gonna cut the cabbage. So we cut the cabbage into little pieces, and that's what we garnish the top of our plate of pozole when we're eating our pozole. So that's what we're gonna do. and wait until our pozole is fully cooked. And then the cabbage, you have to cut it, and then we wash it with water, and then we rinse it. So see, you cut it in half, and then you start cutting it into little, as thin as you can. And there you go. Before you know it, you're done cutting your cabbage. And if you don't want it that big, like this, you could always cut your cabbage into smaller pieces. And then you put it in the plate, and then we're gonna rinse it, and then have it ready for our pozole soup. So here's our pozole. It's finally fully cooked. And here we have, see, so you can see it. Everything's nice and cooked. See the meat? The meat is soft. See? Ooh, that's hot. But yep, our pozole is done. See, we have all our meat. See? It's fully cooked. So now we're gonna serve ourselves and let it sit for a little bit and taste our pozole. So see, I'm gonna serve myself some. So here's some of meat and some hominy. Now we're gonna get some meat. I like these little ribs. They taste really good. I put a little bit of ribs. If you don't find what I use, you could just get pork shoulder, and cut it into little pieces. Then see, this is now we're just gonna add a little bit more of a hominy. It's all the way in the bottom. There it is. And this is our pozole plate. So we're gonna let it sit for a little bit, and then we're gonna try it. So our pozole is fully cooked, and we let it sit here for about 5 minutes so it could cool down. And I always add cabbage to it. So I add cabbage, and then I add oregano. So we're gonna put some oregano in it, and then we're gonna squeeze half of a lemon. And then after the lemon, I like to add a little bit of onion. So I dice a little half piece of an onion, and I'm gonna add onion to my pozole. And now we're gonna taste it. And then we eat it with tostadas on the side. So that's what we eat it with. So now we're gonna try my pozole. So get a little piece and try it out. Delicious. It's delicious. And this is my recipe of pozole. Thank you for coming to my channel. Hope you like my recipe. It's delicious.